Greetings and salutations, travelers. Welcome in, Joy Roth and Culinary Zest. Good to see you. How's everybody doing today? We are on a planet in Eisentam, and we're going to talk about virtual photography, and then we'll just go from there. This planet is in the No Man's High Hub system of claimed planets. We have two capital planets, one in Euclid and one in Eisentam. And this one is just a freaking cool planet. Just had a nice storm roll through. And here we go. So I ran across this planet. Someone else discovered it. Someone in our No Man's High group. Hey Spock, welcome in. Thanks for joining us today. So one of our No Man's High group discovered this system, and I decided to explore it one day and found this really cool site with the ringed planet right there in the background. The sun is about to set, and just right next to this crashed freighter, there's a few other fun sites, like these cool crabs. And then somewhere we've got some striders. They'll show up around sometime. They're pretty neat looking. Let's just take a moment and check out this sunset. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. So first off, we're sitting up here on top of this crashed freighter. This angle right here looks like we're actually standing on the engine. But we are not. Look at all that distance. Look at that hitbox. But you can kind of play around when you're in camera mode, and you can make it look like you're standing on it. And you can zoom in and just check out that background for one. Let's come over here to the field of view. And it kind of zooms in without zooming in. So you can move the camera in really close and get that shot, or you can back the camera up and then zoom in, and everything in the background is going to appear larger. And that's it's as true for real photography as it is for virtual photography. And you can manipulate the background and the foreground to just create the image and the vibe that you're looking for. And you can I like to line things up and just play with the geometry in the background and the foreground. And up there you've got my freighter. Hey, Sins Arcade, welcome in. How you doing? '07 to you. All right, so say for instance we want to get that freighter a little more visible. We can play with things like the cloud level and the fog level. Fog level, as you can see, it makes the fog go away. So you can see everything a lot more clearly, but frankly that's a little too clear. So what we'll do is we'll come back up to fog and we'll play with that and see how we like it. That kind of gives the effect that we might be looking for. And then, just play with the geometry and see how you like the layout and how are you framing things out. Like we have off to the left-hand side, we've got the planet over the little floating island and all of the cool protea wheel trees. And they're just hanging out, vibing in the background, but it gives us some visual interest to play off of what's in the foreground. So you can both see what's happening in the sky and what's happening in the background. And then your focal point, whatever you have in the foreground, you can check it against that too. And that's a pretty decent layout. I take a lot of pics in No Man's Sky, and I recently checked. Some of you may have heard this already. I recently checked and discovered that I have taken about 40,000 images in No Man's Sky in the 6+ years that I have been playing. It's quite a lot. I have them backed up on multiple areas, and it's interesting to try to sort them all out. I've started taking so many that I have to I've started putting them in folders according to what year I took them in. And there are thousands of photos in each of those folders. Tens of thousands to be more accurate. And so, yeah, let's play around with this image a little bit more. So now we've got a night shot. And we've got some nice glow from the staff weapon. And then we've got the little green glowy eyes from my autophage head. And let's see here. I have that on vintage, so let's put that on the default filter. So even though we've got this giant gap between what we're standing on and where our character is, we can actually kind of use that to our advantage, and that, we won't have to get too much of this object, the crash freighter, into the image. And we can just sort of do it looks like you're standing on something, but you're actually just hovering in there. And so again, we can play with this. It's a little too dark for my taste, so what I like to do is mess around with the lighting a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll put the sun just below, so it's still night, but it's casting some light on our back. And so we can play around again with the geometry of the image. And we can zoom in and we just move the camera around and see what we like, see what we don't like. And this one isn't quite doing it for me. And so what we'll do, sometimes all you need is just a little bit of an angle shift. And then we'll do the same thing as before. Drop that sun just under the horizon. And now we've got something closer to this. Now we can move the clouds out of the way. And I like this, but I want a little bit more light. And you can see what playing around with some of this can do for an image. Let's see, so we want the sun to come up behind us a little bit more. And then we have an image like this. And then again, we play around with the angles. A lot of heads, it's a little easier to tell which direction the head is looking, but this one has so many eyes that it's kind of hard to tell. So this might not be the best angle for this head, but it can be a really good angle for other heads or helmets. And it kind of gives you that looking over your shoulder look as a sort of either breaking the fourth wall, or it kind of gives that feel of you have that instinct that someone or something is watching you, so you're looking over your shoulder while at the same time trying to enjoy this amazing sunset or sunrise, depending on the time of day. And so let's take this as an image. One of the reasons I take so many images is I will take, I'll kind of sort through and I'll go, that's kind of a cool pic. I'm not sure if that's exactly what I'm looking for, but I will snap that pic and then stick it, just have it in the folder. And when it comes time to editing, then I can decide what works and what doesn't work. This one's kind of cool. You can also, since the cape right here is in an interesting configuration, you can do something like this. And you can, again, we're going to try to make it look like we're standing on an object when we really aren't. And this one might not actually be doing it quite right. So what we'll do is kind of zoom in and just get this without the legs. And you can see that sort of sweeping motion that the cape gives off. And you kind of play with the alignment, how you want it. And then you can do things like zoom back out so you get that whole planet in the background with most of the rings. And then you snap that shot. And then you can see, like in the background, those glowing raver type trees. I call them raver trees. And for an image like this with those in the background, you do want to try to get it so where they're lit up to give it that extra interest in the background. And you can also go back and play with the clouds. Sometimes the clouds cooperate, sometimes they don't. And then you can play with the fog. And you can subdue the look of those trees in the background. And it just depends on what you're going for. Do you want them to be more prominent? You don't generally want the planet that unmasked. To me, it kind of looks weird, so I definitely like some kind of fog on it, and it gives that atmosphere. It looks like you're looking at a planet with atmosphere. And so we can snap that shot too. And then come back. Now that we've taken a couple of pictures down here or up here on the freighter, we can go over to this spot that's not far from our base computer. And this is kind of one of my favorite visual places. Here's some sentient plants. And then come over here. And you can see a nice white grass planet. It unfortunately isn't one of the glowing grass, bioluminescent grass planets, but that's all right. It's still very beautiful in its own right. One of the cool things about a planet like this is that it's not hard to kind of remove stuff that you don't want in the image. And then it kind of frees you up to not have items blocking what you're trying to snap a shot of. Hey, Professor Cynical, welcome in. We are talking virtual photography right now. We are currently in Eisentam on a planet that is in the No Man's High Hub system of claimed space. And we're just talking about removing objects in the foreground in order to get a really good shot. So I've done similar versions of this shot before, but never with that bird that you see off to the left in that exact position. It's like it's perfectly in there. And let's see what we can do to enhance this photograph. First thing I like to do is change the time of day. And we've got, throughout most of the day, you have this incredible red in the sky. Hey, Christy, welcome in. Professor Cynical's isn't in there. Link isn't in there yet. I'm still in the middle of loading in all of the links. Soon, I swear. But yeah, if you could grab Professor Cynical's link, I would be greatly appreciated by that gesture. Christy, thank you. So here we are. We've got this red background. And let's keep going with the time of day just to see what else we can do. You can see the shadows moving. Here comes the sun. And you can see the foreground darkening as the objects in the foreground are now backlit. And so you've got this nice little effect right here. where the color in the ends of the trees really stand out. And then the background is nice and bright, and it gives a sort of a, a deeper vibe to the image itself. So I'll snap that pic. And then let's continue with that changing of the time of day. Oops, wrong direction. Hey, Dead Parrot, welcome in. And here we see the sun right there in the V of the trees. That's another, clever placement of the sun can really change an image dramatically. And this is no exception. We went from this, where the focus is really on the trees in the foreground and the planet in the background. But we can then change that. And we've got that sun right there, and it brings a little more emphasis to where everything connects, while at the same time separating the planet from the trees. It has that really nice effect of layering everything. And so I'll snap a picture of that too. Alright, so let's continue. And you can see the tone of everything changing. That planet looks more lavender now. And now it shifts into blue and then the yellow where the sun is. And then you just drop the sun all the way down. And then just check that out. Look at that yellow. Look at the blue. The teal and the blue from the ends of the trees. And there's still a little bit of the pink in there separating the blue and yellow. And, sometimes I can take as many as 12. I think maybe 14 was the most I ever took of one spot, because I just messed with all of the color. I messed with the sun placement. Here we go again, dropping the sun even more, and the stars are starting to come out. And you again see how just shifting the time of day can really dramatically change that one shot. And then you get a little bit darker. Sometimes it's really difficult to choose which one is my favorite out of a set. Sometimes I'll post several. I'll post different versions of ones. I no longer post on Twitter, but I do still post in various Discords around. And I am starting to get back into posting to Reddit. I've posted many things to Reddit. Gamer tag is the same there. Just look up Dashboard Devil on Reddit if you're over there. And you can see all kinds of images that I've posted over the years. There you'll also see various videos that I've posted of random goofiness and base builds. And I also posted the time that one of my screenshots made it into the splash screen for an expedition. That was freaking awesome and such an incredible honor to have one of my images actually show up in the game. So freaking cool. The dopamine hit still pays off to this day. So nice. Hey, Moose Gaming, welcome in. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you for coming in today. As you can see, we are going on about virtual photography and playing around. Sometimes you catch a ship just right, and that's nice with the bird right up there in the sky. But the ship isn't quite where I would like it to be, and the ends of the trees are not glowing. So while that's mostly pretty cool, this is a shot that I would actually abandon. And let's see, what else can we do visually on this planet? Oh yeah, this is really cool. One of the trees, one of those giant trees, is actually underground. It's just poking the end right out. And let's go over here and dig a little hole. Oh wait, I don't have the terrain manipulator on this. This is a fairly new multi-tool that I picked up recently on this save. Or I built, actually. I might have the coordinates to the cabinet where you can put this specific one together. But it's a nice dark purple with the magenta light tones coming through. All right, let's see. Where are you? Ah, there you are right there. And check it out. So you don't get to see the top of the tree because the ground is kind of thick in that area. But the caves are pretty cool. Oh, no. Those can just fuck right off. But check this out. Not the most spectacular caves, but still pretty darn cool. Lots of red glow to this one. Alright. Oh. There. Okay. So yeah, let's see what this looks like as we go through the time of day. Let's get a little more distance. Let's see what we can do with this image. And you can see that just like above ground, it's pretty drastic as the time changes. Goes from that red glow cast by the background color of the planet and the sky, and then it goes, as the sun goes down, you can see the white grass start to emerge, and then as darkness falls, not quite as exciting. The red during the day is kind of cool. but it's not really inspiring me to want to snap pics in here. It's wow, but it's neat, but it's not wow. Let's say that. All right, so oh yeah, I forgot there's a little hole already here. Yeah, I agree, Dead Parrot. It's really nice to have. It's really nice to have those kinds of things in the caves, especially when you can see the whole thing inside the cave, if it's large enough. Another fun item to have in the foreground of images, especially on a planet like this, are the various harvestable plants, like the star bramble here. But unfortunately, there's so much stuff blocking it. It's really not going to do much for us in this instance. So let's take a look. So we've got, oh, here we go. Little sentinel. I have sometimes a fun pick is waiting for a sentinel to go to just start flying flat and just kind of hop on top of them. And sometimes if you get it just right, no, it's not cooperating. Sometimes if you time it just right when they stop, you can hop on and jump right into photo mode and get some really fun pics. Take a look at that. Look at that. Just a little pause for the sunset. Those purples in the clouds. Ships flying by. Just really nice. All right, where are... Okay, here we go. Big old green crabs. And so here's an instance where we can, first off, vignette. I do not like the vignettes. So annoying. So yeah, we've got this little crab dude, crab spider, spider crab. And we can just play around with that image and see what we like about it. We can do that again where we hop into here and we want that planet more like we want it larger in the background. It can really add to the drama of an image. And then we can just play around and you can see how the body of the spider crab sort of can nestle into the bottom of the planet, and you can line it up to give it that. It has sort of like it has a flow to the image that you can see a little bit more clearly here without the clouds. And again, you can play with that. You can go off center to see how you like that. You can go off center this way, and then you have the more of the spider crab's eyes, and that's a pretty cool image. And then we'll come up here and play with time. And we'll make it a little bit more dark. And that's pretty cool, but I kind of like having the spider crab face a little more illuminated. So let's go over here and see what this does. A little too illuminated. Let's get a little bit over here. And let's try it one more time. That's nice. That's kind of nice. It's a little more light on the spider crab without it being too much or too dark. Oh yeah, definitely chaotic. I do like to do post edits and to really make things pop more. And so there's a difference between how it looks, like when you're looking at the image after you've taken it, it looks very different from how you remember seeing it in the game. And so playing around with those details really pulls the image together in a way that makes it feel like it did when you saw that in the game, in my opinion. That's how I like to look at it. So again, I'll play with a little bit of time, make it a little darker. I do like to do images with the stars if it all balances out right. Yeah, a lot of times Dead Parrot, it's all about timing and accidental awesomeness. That you can decide whether or not you want to play off as intentional later or not. So this is an image that I like, so I'll snap that, and then later I can decide if I want to bring out more vibrancy. I often do a bit of contrast and brightness to really bring out details that to really make the image pop. I don't usually go full Photoshop. One, I don't use Photoshop, and two, there's a lot of people that already do that, and I like to mostly just enhance what I call the natural beauty of the game itself. And that's how I like to think about it. Hey Delta One, welcome in. How are you doing? Oh, yep. 78 subscribers. Yep. Nice. Thank you. Uh, yeah. We're having a good day, and people are along for the ride about me going on about virtual photography. And if you're just joining us, I did mention earlier that I recently did a rough tally of all of the images I've taken of no. It looks like we're okay, and we're back. Okay, there's a little looked like there was a little refresh issue with YouTube or my internet connection, not sure which. Yeah, subtle spotlighting would be really cool Sometimes you can play with the light to get those effects. Yeah, Delta, I thought it was stroking out too. It did it twice. I thought I was going to have to start the stream over again, which is never fun. But yeah, so just in and of itself, this planet is awesome at night. It's not too dark. And it just has a really nice vibe. I feel like the white grass kind of helps it not be so dark. Yeah, Chaotic. Sometimes I do use Snapseed. One thing that I do is I once I am done with a session, I will sort all of the images into folders, generally sorted to what galaxy I'm in, or if it's an expedition, then I'll separate those images out into a folder in Google Drive. So I have tons of folders with different images, and then from Google Drive, when I start to import that into my phone, I use the native photo editor from Google Drive, and sometimes I will kick it over to Snapseed or other apps to then further modify the image. Hey, Ognum Games, welcome in. Thank you for joining us today. How are you doing? So yeah, so I have tons of different folders for all the various images that I take, so it's a little more organized and I can find things. Back again. Here we go. We can often get an opportune moment like this where we get an image that just kind of falls in our lap. Let's play around with... Oh, look at that. Oh, that's kind of nice too. All right, first things first. Let's, like I said before, the first thing I do like to do, make sure vignette is off, and then hop up to time of day. All right, Chaotic, we will talk to you later. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for stopping by and helping me manage things. I appreciate it. So let's play with that time of day. And you can see, you can do some, oh, this is kind of nice right here. Let's get a little bit more light in the foreground. I might have to go beyond a little bit. Okay, we'll round it all the way back around because it's not quite doing what I wanted to. Here we go. And then you can just kind of wiggle it around and play with the alignment of things. Sometimes what you want to do is make shapes with the image. So you can see the staff weapon going up at that angle kind of corresponds with the green streams from the ships. And you can play with the alignment to see what works, what doesn't, and how you want to build your image. So this one is pretty cool. I like it. And this is one that I would definitely later sort of enhanced just to bring out some of those details a little bit more crisp. So I will snap that shot. And like I was saying, I do like to sort everything out into folders and then use different apps to enhance the images. And sometimes if you're quick on the draw, again, you can get the images kind of fall into place. Hopefully I can move around just to get oh, not quite. Let's see what I can do here. Go up in the air a little bit. And since we're trying to mess with the shape of this, what we're going to do is zoom out a little bit to see what that freighter is like more in the foreground. It's so close to working out. Let's see if we can play around with this. That's a possibility. So now what I want to do is come over here. Now we'll play with time this time. No, that's not quite the shape that I like for an image like this. Let's move the sun all the way back around to the other side, and let's see if that changes anything. Not quite. Sometimes an image just doesn't quite stack right with with what you've got, and you keep bumping into this dome right here because I wasn't close enough in. That's okay. I probably pass up twice as many opportunities as I actually snap photos. And with nearly 40,000 images under my belt, you can imagine how many I just completely pass up. Let's see about coming over here a little bit more. Let's see what this image might look like. Over here, I'll place my little avatar dude up here. I mean, that's kind of cool, but I've already taken a bunch of images similar to that one, so let's do something like this. We can play around once again and get a little bit more freighter into the background. So let's move here, which can make it a little difficult because of the hill can get in the way. Let's look around to see if there's a better vantage spot. That's not quite it. Let's play with this one right here a little bit. Let's see what we can do. All right. Oh, my eyes are not glowing. I do have my camera on a hotkey, but sometimes I can do it much faster just by button mashing because I've gotten pretty good at it over time. And I like to look at all the details, and we've got that one tree in the background that I would like to have it lit up. So there we go. That's a little bit better. Let's expand that out a little bit. Now we've got the freighter, we've got a couple of trees in the background, we've got a planet, and then my freighter. And let's see what we can do to dress this up a little bit. Let's change the time. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a little nicer. And now let's play around with where I'm positioned. And for something like this, like the way, look at the background. You've got the trees, you've got the planet that's just at the edge. And then you've got the freighter with all the little frigates around it. And you can see the different objects are kind of separated by a little bit of space. And even in the image, there's a little separation between myself and the freighter, like the top freighter part of the freighter off to the right, and then the my freighter up in the sky. So you see all the little spaces in between everything, and that's keeping your eye on those kinds of things can also help you craft an image just by playing around with things in the background and the foreground. Since there's so much sky and not a lot of stuff in it, we'll pop that up a little bit. You can play around with how much view gets in the image. You can play with the distance and still keeping some of those gaps while maintaining everything that you want in the image. And so we'll take a snapshot of that. And then I will, let's see, let's play with the fog density a little bit. Sometimes that's fun to do. That kind of makes things look even more dire. And then it puts my little avatar guy up in the front, and I'm the prominent image. So you can see that it's less, the image becomes less about what's behind me, but myself in the image. And I am the story now, and then everything else is background. It's supporting what you have in the foreground. Now, you can use yourself in the foreground, you can use fauna, you can use just about any other object. Autophage, NPCs, and just play around with those kinds of things. Yeah, Dead Parrot. I don't know what triggers it. It just kind of happens sometimes randomly. I know that I've most frequently seen it happen at the campground planet for No Man's High. I've seen it happen there pretty often. I don't know if it's some locations are better than others about that or not, but that's where I've had it happen most often. I've also had it happen at where my spider base is. So that's a possibility. Oh, Dead Parrot, you've got some pretty cool videos. I wouldn't say they're poorly done. You've recorded some really cool stuff over the years. Don't sell yourself short. And aren't you supposed to be a streamer soon anyway? Aren't you going to be doing that on Twitch? Have you been forced into it yet? Oh, that would be really cool, Dead Parrot. That would be super cool. Yeah, I definitely want pics of that, and there better be videos. Well, I'm sure before too long you'll get up to that goal. All right, let's, I think that'll wrap up uh, my first foray into talking about virtual photography for this stream anyway. We'll wrap that up. This is really funny. Just this. It's always here. Freaking hilarious how sometimes the terrain will do this. Thanks, Sean, for the comedy. Oh, let's get my ship over here. Thank you for the sub, Ognum Games. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, I also appreciate that comment, Dead Parrot. My brain does have a way about it. One thing before we go, I do want to try an image. I want to see. Sometimes you can land your ship. Nope. Sometimes. I've done it before, but it's not always cooperative. Usually on the ringed part of the freighter with the big rings on it that you often find in the water. Sometimes you can land on the ring. And I just want to take one more look at this beautiful planet. And what we'll do next, we're going to hop over to another planet in this system. Some of you have already seen this base that we're going to go check out. And but if you haven't, we're going to go check that out. Even if you have, I think you're going to dig it. Let's see. That's the name of the planet. El Benken. I just need to remember where it is. Is that it? Yep. El Benken. Oh, oh, gotcha, Ognum. Yeah. So definitely sub to Dead Parrot, and we'll get him streaming before you know it. And this is a really fun paradise planet. Once again, this is in the No Man's High hub system. My mind just went blank. Apologies, I just had an ADHD moment and everything in my brain just completely went blank. Mostly because I was interrupted by the thought that the base on this planet that I have is not on this save. So we would not be able to see it. So what I will do is call my freighter in. False start. Whoop, overshot. Hello. I really do know how to fly, I swear. We do have some beautiful real estate, Dead Parrot. You are not joking. So what we might do instead of going there is, well, if you have not seen this freighter base before, I'll take you on a little tour. So I've done, is it this one? No, not this one. Some of my freighters, so I have 5 active save files just on PC that I jump back and forth between in order to do sort of maximize my building ability. And so I have that many freighters, and this is the one that I've built the most on. And so to start off with, I've got these short-range teleporters right here at the entrance. I made everything super bright green so that no matter where I am on the bridge, it's super easy to know exactly which way to go for the freighter. And in here I've got just fun statues, kind of gold to contrast against the teal. Playing around various ideas. This way I've got the control room for all of the missions to be observed, and that dude just walked right through. Seriously? Seriously? You're gonna keep doing that? Rude. And so yeah, so we've got appearance modifier. We've got the planetary probe. We've got the base terminus. Here's the hallway going back to the bridge. Got more short-range teleporters. Yeah, Noel, I'm forever hitting those antenna and the turrets like too frequently, I think. All right. Got a couple of posters. Oh yeah, you know, I don't have everything up here. Let's see. Nope, got that one. Let's see. Oh, I might not have all of them saved on, loaded onto this save file. So we'll skip that. So here's the main hallway, straight from the bridge. Back here we've got all of the storage units. And we've got the exocraft summoning thingy. And I preserved this hallway that used the old freighter rooms, kind of a preservation of how things used to be. There's a couple of little spots like that around and throughout this freighter base. And again, I like to help me navigate wherever I'm at. I like to have objects placed in specific areas. Like you see these 2 Calcis rooms. No matter where I am, I know that those Calcis rooms lead to the bridge, because that's how I set it up. so I can visually see which direction I need to go in. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I never get lost, because sometimes I forget where I am, even with all of the clues. So here is what I refer to as my Arboretum and my mobile Nip Nip lab. I've been wanting to come back in and redesign everything. Okay, Christy, thank you for stopping in. I super appreciate it. Go enjoy your food, and I will catch up with you later. And I do want to come in here and put a bunch of max-sized Nip Nip, like Nip Nip to the ceiling. That's what I want in here. Have it a little more overgrown. Got some nutrient processors over here. While I do like the style of the new nutrient processor, I liked how you could change the texture of the old style ones. I loved having the teal with the wood texture on these. They just looked really cool. So moving on from the Arboretum, we have this room with all the refiner, the giant refiner room. And one of the things I do like to do a lot is I like to glitch the color, and you can change the colors of the various parts, even these freighter parts, just by doing a few simple tricks. So what we can do here is find, here we go, the emergency light. And what we can do with that emergency light is, let's say we want to do this sort of bright red. What we do is we color this lamp and we place it. And then we immediately go back here into part selection. And then we'll pop back out of that and highlight this freighter room. Oh no, they fixed it. They fixed it. Dang it. You can't do it anymore. You can no longer do the color glitch. What would normally happen is that just by hitting the color selector, it would map the last known color onto that freighter base part. But now what it's doing is bringing up the new color selector for just the freighter parts. And that is very unfortunate. So these colors are glitched in. Being able to reproduce them looks like it's no longer a thing unless I use some mods. So, all right. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate that anymore. So we will remove the emergency light and we'll go on to finish touring this base. Back on the other side of the Arboretum, we have the lounge. And you can see I've glitched in some room projectors, holographic room projectors. And it gives just a lot more interest to what's going on in this room. Took me a while to get everything just to line up right, but I finally did it. Yeah, I agree, Dead Parrot. There's been a couple of different times where you could change the colors of the concrete bags, but it keeps getting patched out. I'm hoping that that will return at some point. We'll just see how it goes. So yeah, more about the lounge. And you can see another way to, have interest when you're decorating a base is having different colors show up. Now, these couches are actually the same color, but the centerpieces are throwing off that more red color. So it kind of, I'm trying to remember, that should not be, I don't think it's the mushroom doing that. I think I put something in here. I think I sunk something in here to give a different color light. I'm not remembering what it was. Could be a small pill light. Might be something in the ceiling. Might actually be the way the holographic projector. It might be that. I can't quite remember, but it's cool. It turned out really nice, and it gives that interesting vibe. And then over here we've got a fireplace. I mean, what freighter is not finished without a fireplace? Yeah, they still make pretty great pillows, Dead Parrot. So yeah, you can see I've colored the fireplace, and I put a couple of the blob statues there, kind of again as a modifier onto the original part to give it a little more depth and interest. Oh, that's cool. A sick bay. Oh, that's nice. I have not, you know, I didn't even think about that. That would be a great addition to this build that I might do at some point. But for now, we will continue. Oh, first off, this is one of the SRTs at the bridge, and it just allows me quick travel to any particular place that I want to go really quickly. And here's my bar. Pretty much every bar that I make, whether it's on my freighters or at any base that I might have, I use the jellyfish statue and then slap the fauna face on it, and then I give it some kind of hairstyle like these pigtails. Sometimes it's like a mop hairstyle. Uh, I've done like a little plant that looks like a top ponytail. It's pretty hilarious. And that's the plant that I use for the top ponytail, which is it's a lot of fun. And you can see that I've put the little boxes underneath the chair, and that elevates the chair, so it gives it that more bar stool vibe. And it looks a little more natural when you sit down. And so you can see that I should have made the box underneath a little bit smaller so that my knees aren't clipping into the table there. And that's something that's easy enough to do. You just pick up the part, make it a little smaller, and then reset the seat down on top of it Super, super easy to do. And you can actually sit at the bar instead of putting down the bar stools that you can't use, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Noel, the little jellyfish can be weird and wonderful all at the same time. And let's see, you can see that I've got the little faucet things, and they kind of vibe like beer taps. And now we will get up, clip through the bar. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, there we go. I thought I was going to get stuck. All right. And so you can see around the outside, I've built a little walkway so you can go around everything. You don't have to necessarily go through. And I've got a little side door so you can see all around the outside. More SRTs outside to, again, get me really quickly across. All right. Go back here, and we'll head farther back into the ship. And again, you can see all the way. I like having a nice line of sight. You know, a pretty good distance. It doesn't always go all the way, but you can clearly see the bridge all the way at the end. That's kind of nice to have sometimes. And now we're going to go into the engine room, or engineering. And this is where, some of you have already seen, I have created a warp core. Sort of in that flavor of Star Trek. It took me quite a while to figure out how to put this together. But you can see that I have this whole stack of shrunken down holographic room projectors. This was super not easy to do. And you can see I also have shoved in here, I've got the light table that's been flipped around. And then you can see the aquatic crystal, and it kind of goes all the way up through, and there's multiple aquatic crystals, and there's the base of the aquatic crystal right there. It took me so long to get the size just right so that the raised part comes outside of the grid from the holographic projected room. And it goes all the way around. And you can see it down here too. It took so long because that's such a narrow space to get it to fit in there and look the same all the way around. This was so difficult to do that. 5'1" and need a booster seat. Hey, short is there's nothing wrong with short. Nothing wrong with short at all. One of my partners is 5 feet tall even. Oh, thanks, Dead Parrot. Like, you know, I still want to, I want to design more warp cores, and that might be a building project that I do for an upcoming stream. I do have a place already set aside on this freighter where I can do that. I keep forgetting to do it, quite frankly. So also you can see in here is the globe statue that spins around. And then you've got the laboratory light up at the ceiling, and then you got lots of pill lights to really bring out texture and that three-dimensional quality of the ceiling. And it carries the vibe of the warp core itself, and it kind of radiates it out. It makes it more profound. Without those pill lights up in the rafters, it looks less. It just looks less. And so just extra subtle lighting is one way you can really make your subject pop. Hey Zawa, welcome in. Welcome in. So glad you were able to hop in and join us today. Zawa is also a member of the No Man's High community, as well as Dead Parrot and myself. And if you are interested in joining up with the No Man's High Hub civilization, the link to our Discord is in the description. Also in the description, you can find the link to my own Discord, and that is called Devil's Orbital Platform. All right, so more about this warp core. You can also see I've got like this is a max sized, without the sizing glitch. This is a max sized laboratory light or laboratory lamp, whatever you want to call it. And then I've got these 8 desk stations all around. But if you look closely, you can see each one of them has one of the first 8 expedition banners or decals. And it's interesting the way collision works on these, and it just subtly goes underneath, so it looks like you're a graphic artist and you're putting it together right there. Oh, well, I appreciate you popping in real quick, Zawa. Good luck in Helldivers? Yeah, Helldivers 2. Good luck with that, and I'll see you around. All right. So the big part of this, you can, if you can hear me walking, what I'm walking on is actually the outdoor, dang it, my brain is drawing a blank. The exterior platform. And what I've done in actually building this, there are no 2-story rooms in No Man's Sky for the building parts on freighters. So what I had to do is build the illusion of indoor space. This is all outdoor, outside stuff that you would find on the exterior of freighters. So we're actually outside of all of the rooms, and I've just put the ceiling that's basically made of exterior platforms, but it makes it look like, just makes it look like a ceiling. But one of the things you can do, go into camera mode, and you can look in between. You can see space out there. So you can see the area in between the the rooms and the exterior platform above that makes the ceiling. And right there you can see the base of some of the objects that are up on the upper deck that I'll show you later. Dead Parrot says, I put the astronaut walking into the night decal inside the ring of my portal base so that you don't have the portal active. Oh, there's something there. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have it active, it is nice to see something. It just, that's really cool. All right, so we've got all of these objects all coming together to create. You've even got these tall antennas. It sort of gives it that. It looks like it gives this sort of subconscious look of containment, like there is something separating you from the warp core. And without it, it just kind of it isn't framed right. So that's another thing that I like to think about when I am creating an object, is how is the object framed within the context of the space that it's located in. So recalling back these blue lights up here in the rafters and how that color flows into the warp core, and then how those tall antennas give a framing to that column that is the warp core. And then all of the other objects and how all of the lighting goes in to sort of bring that cohesive look. The repetition of color throughout the object gives a cohesion to it that is important to the way things are designed, in my opinion. So, and again, you can see with the walls, I have them all of three of the walls are all the same. And then this wall, as well as down below, those are all the same, that same white color. The other three walls are the darker gray color, and they all have dramatic lighting. I have shrunken down candelabra blooms. I knew it would come to me. And that gives that sort of dramatic vibe while giving light to the whole area without overwhelming it. And then I have the white-faced walls that way to give me direction. So I know which direction everything is in. So I know by looking at this that I'm going into the back of the freighter. And so here's the science room, or the engineering / science room off the engineering where the actual warp core is. So we've got little desks set up with different objects. Let's go into camera mode. It's a little easier to navigate around to see everything. Got octo cabinets in the corner stacked on top of each other. That was a really hard thing to line up. That's all just done by hand. And then I've got the little screen right there, sort of monitoring all of what it takes to run engineering. Got the little oscilloscope, more little standing desk type areas. And we'll continue to go to the back. And here we're on the back part of the freighter, or the buildable part of the freighter anyway, where I have glitched a whole bunch of all of the exocraft stations aside from the Nautilon, of course. And so I can summon my exocraft right here, and I can goof around. There we have El Bankin planet right there. I've also glitched some stairs that just go right down. It's just for a really convenient walking access. And you can see we're going to go back here. This is where I'll build like future warp core ideas. And this is one I filmed sort of a how to do this kind of video. I've yet to put it all together. I had some issues figuring some stuff out, but I think that's one project that I'm going to get back into to try to complete. Thanks, Noel. I really do put a lot of thought and effort into deciding what colors I'm going to use and how I want the color to flow through a build whenever I'm working on things. And you can see it's very similar to what I've already done, but I've just played around with different colors and showed how color can sometimes just completely change the whole vibe of a build, whether you're working on your freighter or planetary build, whichever you're working on. So one of the other things that this shows is that the underside. And so I've got this max size. In order to get this to work, I've got this max sized fissure, light fissure, tucked underneath. And so what that's doing is casting this glow all the way around the outside of the warp core. And it gives just, let's go into build. Oops. Okay, that is not cooperating. All right, so you can see the red light from the light fissure casting that glow, and with the light, look, there's movement that goes up from the bottom up. And so it gives, once again, gives the center column more depth, and it just adds to the drama and that sort of 3D effect of the build. That real, it just makes it pop more. It's subtle. It's more subtle on the other warp core, and I will show you that again real quick. just to give you an idea. It's more subtle because I use the blue light instead of the red, but I felt blue was more important here to really contrast from the red of the decking that you can see all the way around and the red of the accents elsewhere on the warp core. So we will head back over here. And you can see that this is without the details like the tall antennas and the other objects all around. This was all about showing the core idea behind this warp core design. So that is that part. And we'll go around to this area. And I, just for fun, I planted the compound bulb and whatever the hell this is called, I can't remember. All right, Dead Parrot, it is dinner time. I appreciate you stopping in. Thanks for asking all the questions. I appreciate it. And have a good dinner. Tell Mrs. Parrot I said hello. All right. So once again, I've got just to add to the overall effect of it, of the ship, I've got this sort of warp cooling kind of bubble pipes, and we've got the really large bubble pipes with the smaller ones going through the center, and I'm doing that just to, again, to it grounds the overall design into reality, along with everything else that you might put in a build. You know, you can have like a fantastical that's just about bright lights and movement or whatnot. Or you can have other types of builds that are like grounded into what feels closer to reality. All right, and one of the things I'll show you, you might wonder why these two rooms here are just sitting here, just randomly placed. But I'll show you, you can just see the light from the light fissure underneath the decking that comes from underneath the decking down below. It blasts all the way through the ceiling, and it just kind of looked weird having that glowing light. So I decided to stack these freighter rooms here to kind of cover up the light, and it kind of plays into the idea of the cooling of the warp core kind of comes up into this tower, and you've got all the bubble pipes that carry it through, and in a sense cooling everything down from what I guess would be massively radioactive. So the funny thing is that often an NPC will get stuck in this room. And as you can see, there's no doors. I had put doors in here at one point, but unfortunately it pokes through and messes up the design of the top part of the warp core. So I took that back out, and sorry, dude, but you're dead in the cooling room. You're stuck in there, and R.I.P. bro. So now we're kind of in this upper deck area, and what we'll do, let's go up here. I'll show off this upper area. Let's shine a little light up here. And so going through the other areas of the ship that we went through, we kind of went under this whole area. And this was going to be sort of hallways and living quarters for like the ship's crew. But I haven't gotten around to doing any of that yet. And as big as this space is, it was going to kill all of my remaining parts. So if I'm going to do something like a sick bay, it's I'm not going to be able to have enough parts to flesh out all of the crew quarters. So because we're still limited to 3K parts. This counts as any other base, and I've got 3K parts to work with, and I think it's at 2,500 the last time I checked. So 500 parts to do a sick bay. I might be able, I think I can make that happen. So one of the things I've done up here off of this decking, if I can get this to cooperate, is I made a bar, just hanging out, just chilling at the top of the freighter. I wanted to build something up there, but it's just too far away and it won't work. I might if I dinked around with it enough, but I decided to not. And here's one of the few bartenders that I have that does not have a hairstyle. No pigtails or a shag hairstyle or a top pony. But that's all right. I do have little trays of the Nip Nip. I had a plant growing up here. I guess it has decided to vacate. I also need to redo the lights up here. Got a save point for when I was building up here. Okay, bald counts as a hairstyle. That's legit. That is absolutely legit. All right, I'll take you up to the front where I have managed to build on top of the bridge. You can now do this with mods, but I did this before that was really feasible. And it's called a sliding glitch that allowed me to place these objects here. And it was not easy. But it has a pretty cool effect, and I can just sit here and just look out over the bridge. Which is nice. And so the way I did this is by coming here, just copy this. Doesn't really need to be connected to anything because it's just, you're just using it as a block. And so you see you can't really build here. It says base out of range up there at the top. So I can't do it under normal circumstances unless you have a mod or unless you try this slide glitch. So what we're going to do is go into the build menu, pick out an object. Let's say I want this bio lantern. Let's say I want to put it on this table. As you can see again, it says base out of range. Can't really do it. So what I'm going to do is come back to this little area. And here, right here, it green states. But as I slide it forward, it will not green state right there. So what I have to do is play with it. So that's where I want to put it, right there. Right as close to that spot on that table as I can. So I need to find the place where it moves to that place. Like the next step is right back here in front of my face. And then, so it's all about timing. And you slide the object forward at the same time that you press. It's like a microsecond difference from when you press the build item button. So let's try to line this up again. Missed it. Takes a while to really get the motion down. And sometimes it can take a super long time. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it, but I'll try a couple more times while we're here. There we go. And you can see I've got it right there. Right exactly on the spot. Exactly on the spot on the table that I intended to get to. It's tricky, but you can do it. It's fun to play with, and it can help you with other types of glitches. And so that's that glitch, the slide glitch. And I'll just remove these, and for now I'll just leave the bio lantern because it gives a little extra light in that spot. So let's see where to next. All right, we've pretty much, actually, I will show you a little bit of this area. So you can see this is where I had intended to make some crew quarters. And you've got this little walkway that goes around the sort of courtyard in the middle. And then you've got this sort of, let's get some light. I've got this little center area, and there's all this courtyard all the way around. You got trees. And this is like more crew type quarters. What I had intended this area to be is like shops that you could go in and you could buy things in the little shops. But I, again, knew that I was going to run out of base parts, so probably not going to do shops, especially if I'm going to try to squeeze in a sick bay. because that would be sick. But all right. Enough of that nonsense. Come down here, and we can check out this little area. That goes back toward the back of the ship. This goes toward the front of the ship. And you've got, again, the courtyard. We've got a couple of large statues, all the trees, some trees, and the tarot rock thing. I thought that was a kind of a fun, added a little fun dimension to the tree roots. Dad jokes. I'm here all week. Oh, bye, Noel. Thanks for dropping in. I will catch you around. Noel is also in the No Man's High civilization. Forgot to mention that earlier. Apologies. And let's head back toward the front. And we're at the top of the engine room on the upper deck. Actually, I forgot that's the engine room. This is back toward the front. And this was going to be a storage room. And this is some decking. This is again area where you don't normally build, but I was able to use that slide glitch to get the areas to pop in, get the objects to pop in, and we're back up at the bridge. I also have these little. There's lots of fun ways to get around to all the different areas, whether on foot or via short-range teleporter. And I also made, this was kind of fun over here, I made this sort of back way to like a captain's quarters. And there's just this Gek looking me up and down, hanging out in my quarters. What the hell? Dude, who said you could be in here? Just kind of a creepy vibe. Is he asleep? Oh, okay, he's awake. All right. Sales Gek. Weirdo. Okay. Here's a thing that you probably are unaware of unless you've seen me talk about it before. And that's this little spot. Every freighter has it. If you look back here, it connects onto the bridge, and this is the hallway that gets you from down here in the hangar up to the bridge and this hallway. But I tell you, my friends, I tell you that this is all smoke and mirrors. So if you come over here and you walk in just a little bit, just until the camera goes through, you see the hallway that leads to the bridge. But back this way is the rest of your freighter. But watch this. As you walk more toward the bridge, you're suddenly in the hangar. It's all smoke and mirrors, kids. All smoke and mirrors. And then you just, there's the bridge. And then here's the captain's quarters. I'm gonna put a door on it so I can walk right onto the bridge from the captain's quarters. Thought that would be fun. And yeah, we go right back in, and you can check out some of my ships that I've collected over the years. Love this blue airplane. Got this killer. Got this killer solar ship that is the official solar ship for it's the No Man's High civilization. We've got a segment called Smoke Ops, and it's our security force for the No Man's High hub. But really, what it is, it's all about the Nip Nip ambassadors, and we aren't here. The only thing we're here to protect is your lack of Nip Nip. So if you find us patrolling the skies and you need some emergency rations, we will protect you from being out of the Nip. And since that's our official solar. Over here we have our official fighter. We have a little Rasa in the same teal and sort of light gray or cream colored look. And that's a really fun ship that I absolutely love. And then I've got other ships like this barrel-nosed fighter with the halo. I don't often like the halo ships. Most of the time, like they're okay, and if the Rasa colors are right, sometimes a barrel. This was just kind of nice with the color, so I'd ended up keeping it. One of my several Sentinel fighters. And one of my absolute favorite fighters. This is one of my main flyers. And that is what I call Midnight Storm. And you can see right here that it's dark blue with the purple chrome. Kind of hard to see it in this light. Let's see, shine some light. Oops. See it a little bit better here. See that purple chrome. There we go. That's kind of showing it. Looks better on some planets. This is just one of my absolute favorite ships of all time. And this was not found. You won't find it anywhere on a Reddit page or ship hunting guide. This was custom made for me to my specifications. And I just freaking love the hell out of this ship. And so I think we're just about reaching the end of our travels for today. We've had a good 2 hours, and I think I'm going to call it quits. It's about time for me to figure out dinner. And I super appreciate everyone coming out today. If you can, like and subscribe. That really helps me out, helps me grow, and I just super appreciate it. Uh, Once again, I'm Dashboard Devil. Have a great evening, and I will catch you next time. Oh no, Enra just missed it. You'll have to catch the next one. Same Tuesday time, same dashboard channel. Have a great day, everyone. I will catch you soon.